This is the movement. The movement.
I moved to New York because I wanted that hustle.
Where are you from?
I'm originally from Wilmington, Delaware.
Okay. Oh, not too far.
Not too far. But then I moved to Atlanta, Georgia.
Okay.
And then I was a freight auditor in Atlanta, Georgia, and also a dancer in Atlanta, Georgia.
Okay.
And so I didn't have that back then. I was like, I wanted something more. I wanted the heartbeat.
Okay.
And so I had a friend who was like, that was in a dance company I was in. She was like, I'm moving to New York. And I was like, I should move with you. And she was like, okay. And I was like, okay. That's how I base my decisions. I really don't put a lot of thought in it. If it feels right,
Okay.
all right, then it's time.
And how's that been working for you?
I mean, there's some trial and error.
Okay. Okay.
But I wouldn't regret because that's how I got here.
Okay. And how long have you been in New York now?
I've been in New York since 2002.
Okay. And how's that been?
Oh, it was rough first going in. I think I had to be hazed.
Okay.
With New York City.
Okay.
But I love it, and it's just the energy here.
Okay.
And sometimes you get that love-hate, like, oh my God, the trains, oh my God, why is everybody in a rush? Stop hitting me. And it makes you, go crazy. And then you leave, you get that fresh perspective. You go on vacation, you come back, you're like, it's home.
And that's so opposite from actual New Yorkers. New Yorkers are like, I'm trying to get out of this city. Oh my God. And you're like, I love it here. And I'm like, ugh.
I mean, I do love it here. Do I see myself in New York always? I don't.
Okay. But for the moment.
But for the moment, yeah. For the moment until I feel that need of it's time. I feel like my life has been built on an internal clock.
So you're a stylist. I met you styling a film.
Oh, yeah.
But I was introduced to you as a science fiction writer. Mm-hmm. So is that something that, I came to New York, I've been able to get some gigs styling, but this is where I'm moving towards. Explain how we are claiming this role in life.
Actually, when New York wasn't, I didn't style. I styled basically on the side with my friends who were like indie artists. And I was like, let me style for you. Let me get some books in. It was just in the fashion industry. I've worked as a merchandiser. I've worked as a design assistant. I worked as in production. Many of my years in fashion was on the production side. So it's just in various of startup companies and high-end fashion companies to low-end fashion companies. I worked the gamut. Science fiction writing, and like I said, it was something that I did. I never thought I would make money off of it.
Okay. So are we still at that place that we don't think we're going to make money out of it?
No.
Okay, all right. Yeah. How did we get here?
The transition. It came in my life when I was like, it has to be more to life than this.
Okay.
When you work in fashion, you work in a lot of corporate companies, you would think they're saving lives. And you'd be like, oh my God, it's a shirt. Seriously? Like, I love fashion, but it was the urgency and the craziness that was there. And I'm like, it has to be something more. So I was finding, although I still love fashion, I love when you work in corporate, but I feel as though I was like, well, what do I want? What would I wake up? And the question I always say, my goal in life is like, I want to get paid for something that I enjoy doing, that one day I could wake up and be like, oh my God, I can't believe I get paid to do this.
Okay.
Like, I could do this for free, but I get paid to do this. And that question and that feeling that I was after is what prompted me to say, okay, what does fuel your passion that you would love to get paid for? And I was like, well, television. I mean, I was born and raised in front of a TV set. My was basically a single parent home. And my mom worked nights. She worked a midnight shift. And my sister was 7 years old. She just wanted to have her earphones on and ignore me. The television, books is what I had. So I can quote shows. I know every actor. So that was like, well, that's what I love to do. I can do television with my eyes closed.
How does that affect the woman? And what I mean is, okay, so the professional woman knows what she wants to do, knows why she wants to do it, is going to network and put herself in situations so that those things could come, does the whole education, school, connections. Okay, but Yvette, the woman, you know, are you able to maintain, or how has dating affected, you know, what you wanted to do? Is dating different here in New York than it was in Maryland, or even than it was in Atlanta? Do you even think about it because you're so focused on your own thing that, you know?
Atlanta was very fortunate in dating. New York too. I think maybe the older that I got, dating has been different because my taste has evolved a little of what I want and expect out of a partner in life. And then it got to the point where I started writing and going to school for writing and started meeting people and other artists. The dating thing kind of like went out of my head. I was like, all right, I'm good. I love being just in the energy field. And if I meet someone in this the field or whichever zone I'm in, that's great. But I was never something that I sought out. Of course, you know, you have those lonely nights. Right. You're like, damn. Who could I? Right. You have those times, but then it was like, I was just so content on just being where I am that I just, I didn't say I needed a partner, because I didn't. I still don't. Do I want one? Yes, it'll be nice. But I think I was happy, and I'm happy being me in a space that I am and exploring life. I'm an explorer. I love to travel. And getting a taste of what's out there before, trying to taste it all before I can't. Okay. You know what I mean? So I think of just that drives me.
So I have a daughter, but I also have 2 sons. So just as a mom, you know, I always feel like I love the fact that my kids are growing up and, you know, are leaving the house. But there's a part of me that's like, I don't want you to go too far. You know, I want you to still be close. Now that I have my daughter, there's a part of me that's like, okay, I'm moving with you everywhere. Or, you know, when you grow up, your house is going to be next to mine. How is your mom in letting you go? Like, how's that dynamic? Like, she has this free-spirited daughter who's just like, hey, I'm here. Hey, I'm here.
It's tough. I swear to God, if they had the what they have, a little contraption where they put the little the dog leash on the children, my mom would have had that on me, and I would have found some way to snip it right there in the back and just, my mom, I love her to death, because I'm the youngest, I'm the baby.
You're the baby.
Yeah, so I was the last one to leave, and she did have that strong hold, and every time she tried to, like, yank it, I was like, I would fight even harder. And I'm like, I know what I'm doing. Okay. And of course, you know, mothers don't want to hear that. And I'm like, no, I'm good. Trust me, I'm safe. I'm not going to put myself in trouble. Just let me breathe. And so, I remember I decided to move to Atlanta when I was 21.
Okay.
And so I saved up for a year.
Wow.
And my cousin had moved to Atlanta. We were like best friends. And she moved, and I visited a couple of times. I was like, where do I want to go if I can go? And I saved up for a year, and I didn't have my driver's license. I got my driver's license to drive the U-Haul.
No way.
The only reason why I had a license is to drive the U-Haul to leave
No way. Get out of here.
Yeah.
So have you always been kind of a focus, kind of like once you make a decision, I'm going? Okay.
I spend a lot of time thinking. Okay. I'm a thinker.
Okay.
I don't know. I guess it's part of me being a Taurus. Like, we think,
Yes, we do. Yes, we do. Okay, I get that.
This is the best option. This is the best option. And we lay it out loud and be like, okay, that makes the most sense. And when I come to that final decision, then that's the route that I'm going to go. And my mom was like, she didn't like it, but she knew that I'm old enough. Like, I'm 21 now, so she couldn't do nothing. But out of high school, I got my guidance counselor gave me an application to, I think it was at the art school of San Francisco. And I was like, Mom, I got the application to art school in San Francisco. She was like, that's a negative.
That's too far.
Yeah, and I was like, no?
No.
And I was like, come on. She was like, no, find something closer.
Oh my, that's so late.
So I was like, Mom, okay, FIT. Mom, let me go to New York. That was definitely a no back then. She was like, no.
It's only we're not that far from Maryland.
She was not having that.
Okay.
Find something local. And I was like, oh, seriously? So it was that had me. And I was like, I will never be in a position where I feel as though someone's holding me back. And so that's why I just like at 21, I saved money, asked friends and family. My uncle gave me some money. Everybody gave me money. People at work. I was like, I'm leaving.
Wow.
I was like, I have to go. I have to breathe. I have to get out of here to know who I am, to see what else is out there. There has to be more than a woman to nowhere, and I need to find that out. And I had to discuss it with her. She was like, all right, I can't keep you. And then you have, the older aunts in the family, and the friends and family. How you gonna leave your mom by herself? How dare you leave your mother? I was like, and you know what my answer was? Well, she left hers. And they were like, well, yeah. My mom's from Alabama. She left her mom to come to Delaware. To get to them to Delaware. And I was like, well, she left hers. Okay. So, what do you want me to do? Okay. And so my mom made peace with that. But she didn't let me go. I was in Atlanta, Georgia, and one drop of snow comes. She would call me. You should stay home and don't be on the road. And I'm like, Ma, you can't. It's not school. I can't stay off from work because a snow dropped on the highway. Cool. Oh, the best part, you'll understand when you have children.
Yeah. Oh, we love to.
I was like, is there a handbook?
We love to throw that.
I was like, Ma, is there a handbook that they give you at birth? Here's your baby. Here's the book of how to make your children feel guilty as they grow up in life.
Yes, there is actually.
Because we've read through it.
Cool. Yes, there actually is. It's a secret book they give us. So, who's the main character in your stories? Is it you?
I think in every story, every character I write, there's a bit of me in it, and every writer would say a bit of themselves in their story. I wrote a lot of short stories, but in the scripts now.
So you're working on something now?
Yes.
What are you working on?
Or my sci-fi short.
Okay.
Of course, because I wrote from just writing short stories into a screenplay.
Okay.
And so now what I'm working on now is basically a sci-fi, like psychological thriller.
Okay. Can you tell us what's about, or no, not yet?
I mean, I can tell you about it.
Okay.
It's ready.
Okay.
It's about two research scientists that's trapped in a laboratory during an emergency evacuation with a deadly airborne virus that will basically deteriorate their brain function. Okay. And so do we get to see their brain deteriorate in the process? You'll see processes of it, and it's like one thing is going to help them to remember one thing, but it's going to be hard because their brain is function, all sorts of function is shutting down for motor skills, for memory, from everything.
How exciting, depressing, challenging, worrisome is writing and putting and turning it into a film? Turning a story here into an actual here. Is that too broad of a question?
No, you know what it is? It's challenging, and I think I'm able to go through it through trial and error. And also because, like I said, I have worked in fashion. We work in multiple seasons at a time. And so you get to see things from a sketch, from a tech pack, into an actual garment hanging in a store. So I'm used to processes. Okay. And so that's why I'm just transferring the production side of my mind into film and writing. And so I think writing for me is different than fashion for me, because it's something that's close to me and something I had since a child that I'm ready to put it out there in the public. And so as being an artist, I find myself extremely sensitive, and I don't like that. Okay. Yeah. Explain. I guess I'm not. Vulnerability and sensitivity is something that I don't know. I guess I feel uncomfortable with because I always feel as I'm the strong person. Like I'm. So is that a little exhausting? It is exhausting, but I don't know. I guess since I was younger, I always been that person to. I felt as though I played more of the adult role than some of the adults that I ever had encountered. And so being raised that way, I'm always feel like I'm the one that's going to jump in and like save it. And so. And then going and having a production background doesn't help, because I think, being a tourist, I'm a tourist. My background is production, and it's like you necessarily are not trying to take the lead, but I think that brain thing inside of us. Okay. I do it. And it's funny, it's like you do it because you know that you can. And that's hard, especially when you have a team. And when you have a team, you have to know to trust, which is It's not that I don't trust, but it's just like
you know what you're capable of.
Yeah,
and sometimes it's easier, which is not easy. It's harder because we have a team for a reason. But sometimes it's like I could just do it.
Yeah, you're so used to like, let me do it, let me do it, let me do it, and you have to figure out like you can't, you can't do it all. And my lovely producer, who's sitting over there in the corner, was like, I'm just going to start taking you off emails. And you don't need to be on this call. I'm like, yeah, but I want to. No, we're good. And I'm like, and it's being in film in any project or any business that you're in, you have to trust the people that you're with, and you ask those people to be on your team because you believe in their capabilities and you believe in who they are and their strength. And I'm a big thing. I don't like, I'm not going to say weak links, but I know I look for the strong people and for like people who are good or certain skill sets when I'm building a team that I know that they can handle. And I know I have some really good people and strong people.
So it's like, let your team rock.
Yeah,
right?
Yeah, it's hard. I'm not gonna lie. And I'm like, all right, I'm not gonna type on the email. Can I be CC blind? Just CC me so I can read it.
Right.
And they was like, fine. I'm like, okay, but I know that I can't, interject, and I just have to trust. And trust also is a big thing if you're spiritual, which I am, and that's something, being spiritual and also because I'm human, is something I have to keep revisiting, is also trusting in the process of the unfolding of life. And
say it again.
Trusting in the process of the unfolding of life and the experiences to like, there's no way you can control that. And there's no way I can control what's going to happen. So
I asked you to say that again because just as humans, I find that that's probably one of our biggest struggles, is just learning to trust. And not only learning to trust, but learning to trust yourself and the work that you've done, the work that you've put in, the relationships that you've made. Like you said, once you gather your team, if you know these folks and you know they're capable, which is why you gathered them and asked them to be a part of your team, learning how to let go, And I think that's such a challenge for most of us. But it's a great feeling when we get to that point that we realize, okay, self.
Just let go. And it's, I know we did one part of fundraising for the film, and then
which film?
The one Don't Forget to Breathe.
Okay.
My science fiction thriller, and it's after fundraising was such a strenuous mental task.
Especially because weren't you just fundraising for Harlem Love?
Yeah.
So it's like back to back. Okay.
And because I think
little plug,
Harlem Love, and they like take a week off, and then be like, we'll revisit. And I'm
week.
Yeah, week off. And I was like,
you said that like that was a long time, just 7 days. Yeah.
Yeah, but me, I always felt like eternity.
Did it really?
Oh my God! I was like, no, let's. Okay, that ended. What's next? And I have a problem.
Okay.
And I'm like, what's next? Let's get at it.
Do you think that's something maybe about being young? Because you got this youthful energy, and it's like, look, I do that. I sleep when I'm dead mentality. So it's like, come on, let's get it. What else is there to do? Let's get it.
You know what? Because I love doing this.
Okay.
I mean, I love writing. I love film.
Okay.
I love the producing aspect. I love being on set. Anything about that, I can do it in my sleep, and so the hours don't mean anything.
Okay.
Like you said, we did Harlem Love, and Harlem Love, as a producer, I did the costume design for the film.
And that's a period piece, so that wasn't like you could just pull some clothes.
Yeah, and I did a small scene too. I had a little acting bit in there too. So it was just like, you did authoring, and you worked a full time.
Girl.
I just did it.
Okay.
There was, what do you want to do? It or you're not going to do it?
Boom.
So
no, real talk, right.
And so.
So do you sleep?
Yeah.
Okay. Now, not only do you sleep, but do you take time just to take care of Yvette? Do you bathe? Do you go inside?
Yeah.
No, I don't mean bathe. I mean massage. Because with the 50,000 things I do, I might bathe like once every 6 months. And I'm always mad when I do it. And I'm like, why am I not doing this more often? But I'm like, girl, bye. I think I'm trying to take no bath. You know what I'm saying? So, do you take care of Yvette?
I have to remind myself when I feel like it's burnt out. And when I you do get that burnout phase where I'm like, all right, I'm done. And what I call is like my mummification period.
Okay.
It's where I would find like movies that I like or shows that I might binge watching, and I'll pick one day on the weekend.
All right, that's okay.
Yeah, and I'm like, all right.
And it takes you right back to your childhood.
Yeah, I lay all the menus out. I lay the menus out. The wine is in the fridge.
Okay.
I'll put on the comfies, I comfortize. There's like a pillow and a blanket, and then when I'm hungry, put that seamless hat on. Food come in, I wrapped up. Thank you. Take my bag, spread it out. And you literally would do that for
What's your favorite thing on TV right now? Or what's the last thing that you binge watched that you absolutely love?
Oh my God. Whew. My hot thing that I keep going to is American Gods.
Okay, I haven't seen that.
Yeah, so it's on Stars.
Okay.
And I think produced by Brian Fuller, who did Hannibal.
A relationship, what draws you, if anything, to a particular show? If anything.
I would think the content draws me to it. Like I said, anything that challenges the mind.
Okay.
Or anything that has.
So comedy is not up there.
Oh yeah.
Oh, okay. Oh, okay.
Oh, for sure. I definitely have a comedic family, and you have to have some sort of like sense of humor to make your way through life.
Amen.
So huge on comedy, love comedy, but for films, I think it's how it's shot, how does it look visually for me to see it. I'm geared towards things with I guess science-based things of like gods and goddesses and spirituality. Some little context to it. I'm more favorable to that, or some that have fables. Like that, like
you really like a story.
Yeah.
Where you're at now.
Okay.
What's one lesson that you have now that you wish you knew at 21? Just one.
One lesson
Don't rush, yeah. Because I just want one.
At 20, what would I tell my 21-year-old self?
Now, from what you know now.
Where now am I?
And don't say love yourself.
No,
I need another one. Oh.
Not really love yourself, but to I wouldn't. Well, save your money. I would say save your money.
But is that possible, really?
Nah, really. I still made it out fine.
Okay.
I would guess trust in your abilities more, trust in yourself.
Why that?
I would say trust in myself because I felt as I always had to guess. Like I knew I was a writer and a good writer, but I was always afraid. So I would say believe in yourself in the context of where you can make it happen.
So you were a good writer. You always knew you was a good writer, but you say you were afraid.
Yeah, I was
what people's opinion?
Absolutely.
Okay.
Yeah, I remember even when I moved to New York and I started taking writing classes and we had to bring work in, and the fear was so mobilizing over me that I couldn't bring my work in because I also suffered a lot from perfectionism. And if the story wasn't right, I was afraid to make mistakes.
But when do you ever know if it is right unless you present
you don't.
Right,
I mean, I didn't learn that lesson to now.
Okay.
I mean, that went years. Like, trust me, it went years until I came to the conclusion. It's not really probably for a couple years now to be like, F it. And it was like I always felt as though I wasn't good enough, that I needed more practice. I mean, that was a constant workshop. School, continuing education. I'm like, no, I need to know this to know that. And I have rarely, people don't believe that, through caution and a wind, a lot of things I've done. Everything I've done was always calculated. Even my moving to Atlanta, it was spur of the moment, but it was also calculated. And so to me to be just like, you know what, here it is, let it hit the fan where it hits, is something that I didn't feel comfortable doing until I got much older too. I realized that attitude was keeping me stuck, and it was keeping me in place. And I was like, something gotta give. And I had a good friend of mine, and she was like, because you're trying to wait for that perfect moment, and there's not really a perfect moment once you feel that you're good enough right now in this moment. And it wasn't until I kept that mantra, it was like, I'm good enough where I am, in the space I am, to do what I need to do.
So you had to tell yourself that and keep reminding yourself, like literally look in the mirror and say, I'm good enough.
Yeah, I'm good enough. Right now, not a month from now, not a year from now.
And when you got that light bulb moment, what shifted? Did things begin to shift once you started saying,
things began to shift, because I said, F it. I'm like, all right, well, here. And when I dropped that, I needed to be a certain way. I felt it was so light.
Okay.
And it was such a freeing moment that I didn't feel as though that I need like hundreds of hours in school, that I felt like I needed like years and years and years to teach mastery for it to be good. And I was like, you know what, just do it. And then I'm not going to name names, but it was a well-known museum that I went to.
Okay.
And I went there, I was like, it's a prestigious museum, amazing, I'm going to see so much amazing things.
Okay.
And I went there with my friend, and we were looking around like, I could have done some of this stuff at home. And people were looking at it like, in awe. I'm like, it's a clay exhibit. And I was just like, wow, people are like really in awe on some of this stuff. And I guess, art is just to the imagination, what you appreciate. And right then and there, I'm like, really? Because that would not, for me, back in the day, that wouldn't have been good enough to present in a museum. I would have scrapped the whole thing and started from scratch. I would have had like 5 editions of the same thing. So when I know that was possible, I'm like, then what am I doing? Why am I holding myself to try to reach this certain level of perfectionism? And I could do what I have to be in the museum or be here. So it's like finding that you're good enough right now, and just say, I'm making up a name, like it was like the Johnson Museum. And so now I have a writing and I get stuck. It's like, it's not good, and how many revisions? And they'd be like, oh, just Johnson it.
There you go. There you go. I like that. I like that.
Yeah. And just throw it out there and see what sticks.
So that's only been a couple of years, that revelation, that light bulb. Not only has it been a weight offer or making you feel lighter in your work, but has it even maybe opened up doors faster because you just kind of let go and know that you are giving a good product?
Yes.
Okay.
Once you let go and just be like, all right, I'll do it. And just say, okay. And you know what else? The molding, the Taurus will keep you stuck, because you wait for any possible outcome, any possible probability to come for you to think of. And then I'm like, you know what? Then I started doing, instead of being in my head, I started being in my spirit. And say, okay, so my intuition, let me trust that. And if it feels right, then go for it. And so when I start living that way, off of my intuition, be like, oh God, it's going to hit. You be like, why are you telling me to do this? And it's like, I'm pointing to that inner root. I'm like, why are you telling me to do this? And you'd be like, you know what? It may be for a reason. It may not make sense to me in my head, but inside it does. So I was like, I'm going to do it. And that's how doors have been opening. You trust yourself, trust your intuition. And it's all about trusting that internal clock.
Okay, thank you. That's it. You're done.
This is the movement.